For your consideration,
Tempest Strike. Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. EHG, the studio behind LE, have dropped their November development update, and I gotta say I am pretty surprised by this. One, I did not see it coming. Two, there is a lot of juicy information in here, and what makes me the most excited is they are finally giving us some details about the rework to Shaman. You are going to get to see the new Tempest Strike. Kind of. So I'm going to try and make this as entertaining as possible. We'll go through this stuff pretty quick, and I will link this in the description below. Okay, they start off with the CGI trailer that they released yesterday. Now, I made two videos on this already. One with an intro and the 4K CGI trailer, and the second video is the Easter eggs from said trailer. Both of those will be linked at the end of this video. Second, they talk about the roadmap to 1.0. The item factions, Warlock, Falconeer, and Launch Day, and they go into a little more details on here. Now, I did not know about this or expect them putting this in the post, but check this out. Kind of exciting. January 25th, Warlock preview. On this date, our community member, Action Aaron RPG. I know the name is spelled wrong, but Action Aaron, it's got a nice little ring to it. We'll be providing a first look at the final Acolyte mastery, the Warlock on icyveins.com. A longtime fan of the Acolyte, true, a huge promoter of Last Epoch, and a great member of our community. Well, thank you very much. We're excited to see what Aaron and Icy Veins has in store for the reveal. As a note, the Warlock will be coming with 1.0 update, and this will be early information look at the class. I cannot wait for January 25th. I have so much info to share on the Warlock, and all I'm going to tell you right now is it's awesome. It really is an amazing mastery. Okay, more to come in the future. Then they go over other features and they just say thank you for sending all the feedback and give a form if you want to continue to give feedback. And then they move on to visual improvements. Now, EHG has been getting hit over the head literally since I've been covering the game about the visuals of it, okay? It's built on Unity 2019, and when you compare this to Unreal Engine 5 and, CryEngine, all these other engines, it's always like, oh, LE looks dated. And if you see what it was to what it became to what it's going to, the improvements on visuals that they've been able to push out of Unity is just incredible. The game looks totally different. Even when my wife sees me play it, she goes, "Is that Last Epoch?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Damn, it looks so much better." And it's only going to continue to get better, starting off with updates to lighting and shadows. Now, I don't want to read all this. Again, this will be linked in the description if you want to read it for yourself. But obviously, they are going to make the environment feel like you are more grounded. They're going to be working on lighting. They're going to be working on shadows. It's going to give a lot more to immersion inside of LE. And by the way, I like that they are using their new little logo on everything down here at the bottom. Also, they showcase the end of time and how they're trying to give everything a little bit more depth. And here in this example, you can see one, it's kind of dark, you can't really see. And then in the other updated image, you can see how, again, everything looks a little better, a little brighter. You can now see your character. Very, very cool. Now, when it comes to visuals, this next part that I'm going to show you is the most exciting, okay? Inside of action RPGs, sometimes it gets boring. Sometimes it gets stale. Sometimes you turn into a robot and you run the same thing over and over and over again. What they're going to be doing is scene variant system. So potentially every time you enter the scene, you might get a different variant. And this example right here shows it off. Starts off with a nice little breeze. Then you've got some lighting and some shadows. You got look fall weather. You got green, you've got dark. And then of course you have storm. Ooh, hold on. The storm is coming. Look, it's raining a little bit. And now it's raining a lot. See this? Exact same area, exact same level, but it's going to add a lot of variation to the gameplay. This is almost my favorite. This is almost my favorite. But now we move into the Shaman revisit. And basically here they talk about that the Shaman needs some love. Okay, and the first thing they're doing to give it a little bit of love is Tempest Strike. Tempest Strike is currently implemented as a spammable melee skill, imbuing each strike with the chance to trigger elemental storm spells on hit, and offering elemental penetration instead of attack speed scaling. And this is always the problem with Tempest Strike, is it does not scale with attack speed, which means it always hits kind of slow. And as you progress through the game, it just doesn't scale well with you. Being a hybrid skill with both attack and spell features, with the spell proc not being the most reliable and the lack of attack speed scaling, Tempest Strike has been in a fairly rough spot. As such, Tempest Strike is getting a complete rework for 1.0, keeping the same name and theme, but completely new mechanics, skill tree, and even role as a skill. So right here, check this out. It's got 3 basically different attacks. It shoots like icicles, it's got this lightning hit, and then it's got a tornado. So it still sticks with the theming as a melee attack that is triggering spells. As 1.0, Tempest Strike will instead be a powerful high-cost combo ability. With each strike of your weapon, Tempest Strike will flow through, launching penetrating icicles, creating tornadoes, and expanding rings of lightning. In this tree, you'll find the ability to specialize into each of these strikes, making them even more powerful, or removing them for other benefits. You'll also find the reworked Tempest Strike be quite favorable for building attack speed, allowing you to rage an elemental storm through hordes of enemies with a whole new suite of animations and VFX. So basically what it's saying is you could be elemental and use all 3. You can spec into just tornado, you can spec into just icicle, just lightning, lots of different things you're going to be able to do. And it does say high cost skill, which means you can use it as a core. You could make an entire build around this instead of just a generator. Which leaves us to this last little piece of info. Speaking of storms, this change to Tempest Strike leaves a vacancy within the Primalist for a low-cost generator or filler skill tailored towards Shaman. But that's another story for a time as we get closer to 1.0. So think of Frostclaw for Mage. That style of skill is not in there for Primalist tailored towards Shaman. So we're going to get something in that vein for Primalist. Very cool. Which is really like 2 new skills. Okay. Endgame rebalance. Now, this is something that we have actually talked about a lot during our dev chat videos, where they are going to be updating Echo modifiers. Now, to be clear, and Mike actually said this best during his Friday stream, is that somebody that's never played or only has a little bit of experience, this is going to sound like a nothing burger. It's going to sound like, oh, it's just, they're just changing some of the numbers. And to the player that has 1,000 hours in the game, this is going to feel like a totally different endgame experience. So right now, the modifiers inside of the Echo really determine the difficulty as those start stacking and scaling compared to the corruption number. And they're going to be flip-flopping those so that the modifiers have a maximum stack of 3, so it'll be 1, 2, or 3 before they go away, and the true difficulty will be inside of the corruption number itself instead of those modifiers. Also, the modifiers will not become worse or more difficult or higher range based upon the farther you are away from the center. They will just all kind of be the same, where normally if you're trying to find easier modifiers, you go closer to where you started. And here is the actual number differences you're going to see. So at Corruption 100, which is base empowered, 60% more monster damage and health from 50, so it's only a 10% increase. At 200, 170% more monster damage and health from 100, so now you're getting a 70% buff. At 300, 281 more monster damage and health from 174. This is literally like 100. This is a full jump. It's 140% more. And then at 500, 505 from 289. And know that EHG does want to reel in this corruption number. I feel like 300 to 500 probably feels good. They don't really actually want these builds in the thousands of corruption. That normally means it's a bug build or something is broken. But if you can get a build that can get to 500 corruption under this new system, that is going to be pretty damn impressive. And the last thing on here, corruption now also slightly scales up the average legendary potential and Weaver's Will values. So previously, it didn't matter if you had 100 corruption, 200, 300, 10,000. You would get more item drops, but you wouldn't have a higher chance of getting legendary potential or higher rolled Weaver's Wills. Even though it's small, it does matter now. It's pretty cool. In closing, with 1.0 being such a significant point for us, features are not only thing we're working on. We're continuing to work through many of the current bugs, improving our networking, improving performance, and addressing many of the balance concerns brought forward by you all. We want to ensure Last Epoch has the best launch it can for everyone, and we're working hard towards that goal. And I'm not going to read the rest of this. It's a nice little conclusion. Join the Discord. Oh, we're back using the CT program, which is awesome. But yes, the other big thing, I kind of wish this actually had its own dedicated paragraph, because I've been getting more and more YouTube comments and stream comments and Discord comments about networking, and they continue to say that it is #1 top priority. So I wish they talked about how they are working on the network and improving that, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that as we get closer to 1.0. But just know that that is most definitely getting worked on behind the scenes. So that is the post. Endgame changes to corruption. New Shaman rework. We've got the updates to shadows, lighting, scene variation. Talked about the roadmap and other features. Talked about January 25th, where I'm going to be able to unveil the Warlock to the world. And then, of course, the CGI trailer, which you're about to see the 2 options at the end of this video. So that is the November development update, and I'm hoping that there is a December development update. This might be a good trend moving forward. 2 asks at the end of the video. Ask number 1, I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. I'm hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it, but of course, only if you think I have earned it. If I haven't earned it, I'm going to work harder for you. Ask number 2, check out my Patreon. Thank you to the first 93 members that have signed up. I get asked all the time, what's the best way to support? And Patreon is it. You get the most bonus content. It supports me. You get access to being able to live stream audio and video with me. You get access to the VIP lounge. It's a really, really good deal. First link in the description. Okay, I'm done. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.